We're live, hold on. Excuse me. So this time we're over in the Civic Center as opposed to downtown, just basically because the BART had started off. Oh wait, hold on, I got a comment. Hey, what's going on, chicken salad? So anyhow, I was over in the BART, and for whatever reason the train just stopped moving and started holding down there, so decided to get off. It's close enough anyhow. So again, oh look, right out there, cops. Wonder what's going on over there. It's still got the mobile command from last week. And there we are, there's City Hall. So let me know where I should go. There's almost full moon out. Should we go see what's up over at the with the police? What's up with you, chicken salad? Haven't seen you the past few times. When I was on my way over here, when I was over inside the BART station, there was this guy who was asking for money, saying that he had a second back. Well, I don't want to curse, but he had a second arsehole. Turned out that he was a heroin addict. I talked to him for a little bit. Sugar Plum Ferry, I'm in SF right now at a bar. In the Mission, where are you at? CC Wong. Hello Lee, nice to see you back live in the video. Thank you. Is there, oh there is a cop over in there. What's up? Welcome to the street. What are you doing, Sugar Plum Ferry, in a bar on YouTube? Things must not be going well. Let's see what we can see. It's you know, Sunday night in San Francisco, not the busiest time. I don't know what's going on over inside that station. Little stop over here. Oh no, nothing. Yeah, man, I've been busy this whole week, so I just kind of crashed. I wanted to do something earlier so there'd be more people to see and talk to, but like, I mean, it's ridiculous all the steps that I have to go to just to apply to this preschool, you know? Like, some of the stuff seemed normal, you know, like filling out applications and writing little mini essays on why I want to go there, where I heard about it and stuff. But then other stuff, I mean, oh shit, that car just crossed by. But then other stuff like, I don't know, like, I just went to the doctor a few times. I had to get TB tested. They wanted my, like, medical records, but since I was raised in the group home system, I don't have access to that, so I had to get my blood drawn and get tested for like rubella and measles and mumps and all that other stuff. I had to get vaccinations for tetanus, diphtheria, something else, which I can't think of right now. Yeah, get tested to make sure I don't have hepatitis B or anything else. It was crazy. Let's see. Looking to see a show at F8. Okay, it opens at 9. Just finishing drinks with a friend. Okay. Good for you. You're really brave talking to heroin addicts in the BART station. Oh, it's not that hard. He was under. He thought that there was like parasites. He was saying, "Oh, all the junkies, like they have parasites living in their skin." But you know, obviously, it's just because you're shooting up. Your veins feel strange. So a lot of the time, like you see people who are on meth all the time who have like sores all over. It's not directly from the meth. It's because it's called picker syndrome. They pick at their face and at their skin. Because it's like twitching. They feel like there's something under their skin, like some parasites. And then they have all these marks, but all those marks are just from them picking. I'm gonna jaywalk. Yeah, buddy. But yeah. What are you guys up to? What do you guys do this weekend? Hold on. Yeah, wow, it's crazy. It's just every time I come over to this area, it's there's crazy stuff going on. Look at this mural. Right there. Yeah. Jerry? Jerry what? What are you saying? Oh, okay. Jerry Garcia, you're saying. Who was in the mural. So, who knows what will happen this time? Who knows if I'll bump into anybody like I did last time. That was crazy. You know, I never would have imagined that those people that are the people who watch my stream are the people who are actually living here, you know? I mean, it's, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like you're living it, yet you want to see more. Speaking of which, over here they're selling all that stolen stuff. Let's go see what's for sale. I got a Canadian flag. Let's see. I was chilling in Bernal Heights. Let's go up over here and see what they got for sale. Got lots of clothes, got some luggage bags. Hi there. What were you doing over in Bernal Heights, Derpy Panda? No, Derpy Red Panda. Oh, there's a Taqueria Cancun. I talked about that place before. Several times. Understanding comics.
Hey, no pictures, man.
All right. Oh wait, hold on. It goes around the corner. They got all kinds of movies. So yeah, I was working on editing some stuff this weekend, but like the shots, I didn't expect them to like mess me up so much, so I just kind of crashed. It's been a couple days and I kind of felt out of it. It's the first time anything like that's happened from just the vaccination. So hopefully this time next week there'll be a lot more videos on my channel. I plan on being more like just putting more stuff out there. I feel bad, but you know, I was trying to edit. I was like falling asleep at the computer. I mean, also there's the fact that I got a little savage at home to try to take care of. She was up until like almost 3 a.m. last night. She's like, you know, she still sleeps with her mom, but she's like kicking her and going sideways in the bed. You know, yeah, just refusing. Like every time I put her back, she keeps rotating away and continuing to try to kick her mom in the face. So it's been hard. No rest for the wicked. Yeah. honestly, like, this is the when I stream is basically the only time that I'm not with my daughter. There's actually, she's tried to watch my streams, and she's cried because she's like, "Where's Dada? I want to be with Dada." So it's looking pretty dead around here. There's not a whole lot of stuff. There's a F car from Brooklyn. Oh, the ambulance. This is a fire truck right over there. Going over into the Tenderloin. Yep. Anyhow, let's see if there's any cool people to talk to. It might be kind of hard. People might be settling down. But yeah. Or they might be settling down, or they might be revving up. Yeah, honestly, there was more stuff over. So, okay, by the way, I'm outside of the Westfield Mall right now. And the cable car turnaround is right up over that way. There might be a few straggling tourists. But, the problem... Oh, what's going on over here? That was not singing, that was talking. I couldn't really hear it. The question is, should I go over to where all the tourists are? There's not many, you know, like I said, San Francisco is really bizarre. It's such a big city, it shuts down so early in this downtown area. See, there's the cable car turnaround right over there. You know, during the daytime there's tons of people, but here there's nobody. Let's go take a look over at the Powell station. People have asked about that. I want to see how many people are sleeping there, and since they shut it down early, we could go take a look-see right now and see what's up. So here's the Powell station. We'll see how many people we see. You know, my friend Jesse, he used to put stickers up on here where nobody could get it off. He's promoting his band. Alright, so there's nobody over that way. Somebody maybe begging for transfers. So he just got money and he's back out. And it's not many people here. So I think they just have more people working during these hours. I see a wall already all the way at the end of the hall. So it could be that they've already shut off that area. Oops. Sorry, I didn't mean to flip it around in front. But yeah, not many people. I think that's mainly just because it's kind of dead around here. we got somebody digging through the trash, I think. Stuff going on over here. Got a half-naked man laying face down in the ground, or belly down at least. Crazy stuff going on. So looks like they shut down this area already. I thought they shut it down at 9. Oh. So it looks like it's closed on the weekend. Monday through Friday, this exit is open from 6:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. There's only 9 people now. All right, let me get out and see what there is to see. Meanwhile, let's just take another look. That was some crazy stuff. It's just amazing. We got somebody working inside the booth over there, and just the kind of stuff that you see, the humanity laying on the ground. Okay, buddy? Are you all right? Are you okay?
Yes, can you help, please?
What do you need?
Sorry, can you first name?
Oh, no, sorry.
Can you again? Sorry. On the street, Market Street, there's another direction that's got to dying.
There's what?
And another direction, they can go straight down my head. Sorry.
You doing okay? You need some medical attention or anything?
No, I want to get a freaking shot. The guy has a blanket too, yes. I will ask you one question. Are you from Canada yellow? Yes, I'm from Canada yellow.
I can't hear you, sorry.
So both of these on the floor. You are from Canada yellow, just like I am. Huh? I'm from Canada yellow, and you're from Canada yellow. Right, man, what's your
So I just think that he's just high out of his mind. He's got the whatchamacallit. He's got the nasal drip. What's going on? Is there anybody who's still watching? I don't have any comments. So let's see. I would continue to try to talk to him, but I couldn't understand anything that he was saying. Yeah. Ooh, someone's playing the guitar over here. Right over down there. speechless. Yeah. You know what's crazy? Is that, like, that is acceptable. That's acceptable here. Oh, she's pretty good.
You're the same, you are crazy, but different, you laughed. I don't know why I wanted so hard to win you over, because you are just another snobby sheep. I am not a sheep, I'm a lion who's been sleeping, and I'm waking now. So you best be running. Run, little sheepies, run, little sheepies, run, little sheepies, run, run, run. Run, little sheepies, run, little sheepies, run, little sheepies, run, run, run. Cause you're biting sheep, you don't scare me. You've only got the nose for teeth. You're biting sheep, you don't scare me. You've only got them.
Alright. I don't want to bother her too much. We got a stroller over here. Somebody's sleeping there with the MTA shirt. There's even a vacuum over there. Oh, look, we got more stuff. Yeah. You're not from here either? So anyhow, yeah. I mean, there's not very many places in the United States where you can see somebody just sitting there out of their mind on their stomach, you know, like pelvis out on the floor at the stairs of a, you know, major metropolitan transit area downtown, and nothing happened, you know? It's not like, oh, there's, sounds like there's a fight gonna happen. Alright, anyhow, yeah, it's just crazy, right? You know, it's like there's just sort of a lack of humanity. It's not something that should happen on a variety of different reasons, you know? Like, I think the people who come and visit San Francisco, like, you don't think that they're going to be riding on the BART at Powell Street Station, you know? You know, I'm sure that's not the healthiest. I mean, I'm sure that should violate some health hazards too, you know? I mean, or health laws, but, you know, crazy. No one cares. There's like nothing on this side of the street. I mean, San Francisco's weird where it's like, on the one hand, it's a major city with a lot going on. On the other hand, shit just goes on and nobody cares. You know, like, it's like a deserted city. It's like a ghost town, but also one of the biggest cities in the world. So it's like, you know, if this were China, it would be no big deal, you know? But, like, for this to be United States, it's pretty crazy. Hi, Christian, you know? What's going on? You missed some crazy stuff earlier in the stream. Yeah. You know these, what's her name? I forgot her name. London Breed. I was thinking about when she was saying, like, oh yeah, you know, I walk down the streets and I don't let anybody know, just so I could see if there's any garbage on the streets. You know, you don't really have to walk too far to see something far worse than garbage on the streets, you know? It's not really a hidden secret. Do you ever think about leaving SF? I came here from Denver and I find myself wanting to go back all the time. The drug problems are so discouraging. It's not even an accurate representation of our city. From D. Greg. And a bunch of numbers. You know, like, I don't want to leave San Francisco, but I may have to leave San Francisco. Just because it's nearly an impossible place to properly raise a family, you know? Like, it's incredibly, ludicrously expensive. It's not the safest place in the world. You know, you have like really excellent schools in the unattainably expensive neighborhoods. You have really terrible schools over inside the poor neighborhoods. But none of that matters to me as much as the fact that, like, I cannot afford to have a place where we all, you know, where we're not all crammed into one 600 square foot unit, you know. So I may have to leave just so we can, you know, live like people, you know. So my daughter doesn't have to sleep in the living room and she could have her own room. You know, then we're not all on top of each other. Yeah. And you know, also it's yeah, I'd like to live someplace. I'd like to live someplace where my daughter can, like, play with other children in the neighborhood, you know? It doesn't seem like that's something that can happen over here. Where she could go to a playground without people shooting up. Oh, look. Let me go see. They're still demonstrating. One drop should be enough, is what it says here. Crazy. So, oh, there's more signs down here. So, I wanted to talk to them, but it's just too noisy. So, it's been going on for quite a while that they've been striking. I didn't even know that they're still striking right now. I mean, yeah. Let's go down this little shady alley and see what's going on over here. This next little alley. Where am I at? There's no street signs here. Oh, at Jesse Street. Okay, hopefully. What the fuck? Oh well. What'd I get? I got some sort of, oh, somebody sent me a text. I was wondering what that was. Yeah. I can still hear those guys, and I'm like now on the other block. So yeah, they've been demonstrating for quite a while. I think what they're demonstrating about is lack of pay. So I'm just questioning where I should go. Let's see if I can get to the Mission, or to Mission. Oh, I am almost at Mission Street. I heard Mission and 5th that there's some encampments, so let's see. So here we go. I think because there's no people around, I could finally get signal around here. So I'm at Mission and 2nd. So just 3 blocks this way. Let's see what happens. That guy looks scary. The guy who had the wine bottle who was bouncing back and forth on the fence over there? I assume you're talking about. Let's see. Well, what's going on over here? Creative collaboration, Adobe and Academy of Art University. Doesn't look like much is going on over here. Oh, it's just their logo. I was just trying to see what their project was going to be. So yeah, that's the hotel again. That's the Palace Hotel where they're demonstrating at. They're really in it for the long haul. It should be interesting to see how everything works out. Yes, Christian. Do you have any questions you want me to answer? I will answer any question you ask me. Anybody, if you want me to go to a specific place, let me know, and I will head over there. As long as it's not very far from where I'm at right now and just sort of unattainable. Thanks for answering my question. The points you brought up about your daughter are so real. I don't have children and it's still hard to get by. I appreciate you opening up about all that. No problem. I like to answer questions. How cold is it there? I don't know, maybe 60 degrees? It's not too cold. That's Fahrenheit, of course, if you're over in some country that uses Celsius. That's a person under there. So right now, you guys are walking over to the Metreon, right over that way. It actually should still be open. There's a lot of people. It's freezing here in Indiana. Yeah, I know. San Francisco, it hasn't snowed here in like 100 years, I think. By the way, I work near Palace Hotel at 140 New Montgomery, so that was cool to see. All right, good to hear. Yeah, but San Francisco, like the weather pattern is a little bit different. We have sort of a Mediterranean climate, so sometimes it gets warmer in the winter and colder in the summer. In fact, it was Mark Twain who said the coldest winter I ever had was a summer in San Francisco. Christian, it's freezing here in India. I'm jealous. Well, I'm sure San Francisco has some things that you won't experience over in Indiana that won't be so pleasant either, though. But yeah, I guess, I don't know. I kind of miss seeing the snow. The snow is not something I've seen since my early childhood. Oh, look, I'm running across the street. But yeah, it is nice. San Francisco, like when it gets to be like 48 degrees, that's sort of like miserably cold over here, you know. Whereas I'm sure it gets well below freezing where you're at. And then again, you know, it doesn't get crazy hot usually either, you know. If it gets up to 100 degrees, that's pretty crazy. Excuse me. Oh, they're not moving. There's a rolling barricade. That's by chance. Oh, no. Close back up. Okay. Where are you going now? So, somebody had told me on a previous stream that there was a homeless encampment over at 5th and Mission. And I've tried to go over there a few times. And I couldn't make it over there because the stream kept dropping out. Now my stream is doing well, so I think now I should go see it. And when's a better time to see people encamped than at night, you know? So this is pretty cool. I haven't really been over here. That's the Contemporary Jewish Museum. This, I don't know, looks like a church. It's still, yeah, it's crazy. Little pocket where there's a bunch of big buildings around that way, but then you still get to see some sky over that way until they finish building whatever it is they were building here. I think somebody was saying that this was a Scientology building. Not sure. Or is that Christian Science or something along those lines. So yeah, there's a Metreon. It's got the IMAX theater in there. Okay, here we are. St. Patrick. Oh, it's a Catholic church. That's what it says here. Founded in 1851. So this church survived the earthquake, or at least was rebuilt after the earthquake. I wonder if you could still bang on the doors and ask for sanctuary. So I should be over at 4th and Mission. That's only 1 block away. It seems like this is a pretty, still a pretty busy area for there to be an encampment just 1 block away. But we shall see. This dude's like trying to run me over. Okay. So now we're just 1 block away. Let me hurry up so I can catch this green light. Oh, there's more people demonstrating. Hold on. Maybe I should look at that. But I just ran across the street. So this is, I believe, the Marriott Hotel. So I wonder what the end result is going to be, you know? Obviously they're going to do something to please the workers, because this is no good for them. But the question is, what is it going to do for those people? I mean, the company is not going to just be shelling out more money. without somehow making more money. So there may be extra fees to be using these hotels. So there's just a couple of people. They got pretty tired over here at the Marriott. There's one guy banging on something, one guy going up and down, or two people kind of meandering on all up and down. You can't see very well. There it says Marriott. So I have footage of this hotel over here. It's actually pretty interesting. So there's a bunch of people who are, you know, lining up right over there and sitting down. And I think their intention was actually to get arrested, which I never understood. You know, I understand demonstrating, but I think you would do better to continue your demonstration, just like these people over here, rather than get arrested to where you're no longer a part of the demonstration. I mean, I guess they get their pictures taken as they get arrested, but I don't see how that's more publicity than having more people here working the line. But yeah, they had those one job should be enough things like over their necks, and all sat down and all got arrested. The cops came prepared, of course. They had like a bunch of zip ties and zip-tied them up. But yeah. Oh look. You gotta be careful leaving your bike out there. Sure, you might have locked up your frame, but that's all that's left. I'm surprised there's even gears left. Oh. Hey look. Someone locked up their tire. It's good to know that that will be there. Unfortunately, the rest of the bike is gone. And I guess somebody left their chain there for later. Yeah. Gotta be careful. I've never had my bike stolen here in San Francisco. I did have it stolen over in Sacramento, but it wasn't even locked up at the time. It was actually somebody came over to right on my porch and took it off of there. Okay, so going over back to the mission. Here is Mel's Drive-In. Oops, it's frozen. There we go. Mel's Drive-In. So this is sort of a kind of pricey burger joint. Hold on, I'm going on the other side of this. Yeah, I used to go here all the time and eat burgers over here. It's been a long time since I've been there. So I'm Jesse East. So I guess that other one was Jesse West. Oh, hold on. You know what's crazy to me is all these people who have like strollers. You know, the homeless people who have strollers. And oh, somebody. All these people, oops, all these people who have strollers who were, wait, hold on one second. This guy was smoking crack behind me. But anyhow, it's crazy all these people who have strollers because that means that they stole them from others, I guess. You know? That's got to be a bad time when you get your stroller taken. Maybe they just left their stroller someplace and took their child to the... Maybe what happened is they were at the mall, took their child into the children's restroom, and then somebody went and snatched their stroller and all the belongings they left over in there. It's probably what happened. So the Metreon is, yeah, again, right over that away. And I'm going over to 5th and Mission, and I see I believe that building there with the clock tower is where the SF Chronicle is printed. But so far I don't see any encampments. So I do see this boarded up building. Notice of application for place of entertainment. Who is this person? Oh, it's a lounge, bear lounge. That's not the animal either. Go to your Herba Buena Gardens. Okay, I'll go. Oh, okay, I'll go there next. Somebody's lighting up. Oops, lighting up crack pipe. Right over there. All right. So I'm just gonna go over to 5th and Mission just to say that I've been there. See, it says San Francisco Chronicle. That would be a place for an encampment, right? You're sure to get lots of news coverage, but doesn't look like there's anything. Terror Vault. Okay, go check out the Bear Lounge. No, it's the wrong bear. B-A-R-E. Westfield. Westfield Mall is closed. I think, yeah, it should be closed. I was over out in front of there. But I could go over to Herba Buena Gardens. The only problem is it's dark and probably won't be people to talk to over there. They're probably going to be sleeping. But I don't know. I kind of want to go down these alleys. There's a lot of crack smoking going on right now. You know what? If I go down further onto like Howard Street, I'll probably see some more encampments. But since you want Herba Buena Gardens, I'll go over there. In fact, wait a second. I'm going to take a detour before I go to Herba Buena Gardens because I want to show you guys where I did some black and white photography. I had an internship. I talked about it a little bit with I think Sam was his name.
Where's the closest dispensary?
Is it closest what? Dispensary?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
I figured you might.
Yeah. Yeah, you know you got it bad when you're looking for a dispensary late night Sunday. Well, it's not late night, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, the Mission, Barbary Coast. I feel like a ton have moved to Emeryville. We'll see. I don't know. I should really start catching up on the news. Try to keep with the times. I actually feel, you know, it was liberating not reading the news, not watching the news. But after a while, you kind of get left out of the loop. In fact, okay, so let me talk. I used to work right here. There's the Burlington Coat Factory. Used to be the California Academy of Science was that way. I used to work over at the California Academy of Sciences when it was over there at its temporary location when it was building the current California Academy of Science. Wow, look at that dilapidated building right over there. Yeah, I don't know, for some reason it just feels scarier around here. You know? Having the razor wire, chain link fence everywhere, it being all industrial, you know? I feel like stuff goes on here and no one cares. You know those alleys are named after prostitutes. Which, what, Jesse? Well, they probably would have had to been from a long time ago, right? Let's see. Oh, you know what? I just realized maybe it's not a good idea to go over to where my internship was, because it's actually over at like 8th and Bryant, so it's a little bit of a ways away. I could go there if you guys want. You guys want me to go over there? I'm for sure there's going to be encampments over there. Or do you want me to go over to Yerba Buena Gardens, which is that way and that way from where I am. I'll wait until whoever says it first. Looks like it's a bit of a delay. What do you guys say? Hello from Florida. What's up, Michelle Spence? I had to make sure I didn't say the wrong name. Say Michael. Whatever's closer. Well, Yerba Buena Gardens then. So I will go up over that a ways. It says Hotel Prince. What's that? I can't see what hotel that is. It's probably demonstrations to see along the way. Go deep into the Tenderloin. Well, the interesting thing about the Tenderloin is you're either deep in the Tenderloin or you're not in the Tenderloin. I mean, you could hold your breath and drive through the entirety of the Tenderloin. It's a University of the Pacific School of Dentistry. Yeah, I don't know, do you carry any weapon just in case? No, but I should. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. The wife doesn't really like the idea of me carrying a weapon. But better to have one and not need it than to not have one and need it. You know what? Let's go off the beaten track. Lee, how are you doing, buddy, from OKC? Oklahoma, Kansas City? What's going on? You're married. Didn't know that. Yep. I am. I talk about having my daughter all the time, too. Hold on. It's crazy. It suddenly got dark in this alley. And nothing. Yeah. There's somebody sleeping right over there. He's shooting up. I don't know who you were talking about. Who was I talking about? Okay. Well, anyhow. So... yeah. It's just crazy to me when I get to these little pockets of nothing. You know? You'd think that this would be the perfect place for people to sleep at. There's one guy sleeping. And it's actually, you know what? I don't know what this building is, but it's emitting hot air. It's actually really warm here. This, if things go all bad for me, maybe you'll find me here someday. Doubtful. The guy back there before the sleeping guy. I don't even remember. I don't know. I guess I'm just sort of in the zone walking. Go to the Twitter building. Cordy, didn't you just tell me to go over to... Okay. Tenderloin, TL. Oh, a lot of people are saying tenderloin. Sorry. Go to Safeway on King. Whatever's closer. Oh, I didn't see the go to Safeway. Sorry about that. Let's see. 6th and Mission near Dottie's. Hey. Oh, you already said hey to you. Sorry, I'm scrolling through. Your intern spot. Somebody. Oh, man. Okay, I think Saturday night is when it really goes down. Okay. Yeah, it looks like you're close to the Twitter building. Yeah, I could go over to the Twitter building as well. So, right now I'm outside. Well, let me see. Hold on, let me talk to you. Are you guys food runners? Let's see.
These guys. Oh yeah.
Oh, sorry. I don't mean to scare you. Are you a food runner?
A what?
Food runner?
No.
No. Oh, what is this thing about?
Oh, these are t-shirts.
Huh?
T-shirts.
Oh, t-shirt. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought you were giving out food. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. All right, so we're Urban Winter Gardens. Okay, so I'm over at the Metreon right now. Yeah, that was nice. So I guess what happened was they had some sort of event and they no longer need those promotional T-shirts. But he probably got like a whole stack of them. So I went to actually Urban Winter Gardens before during a live stream. Let's see, is this Target? This Target looks closed. Oh no, it's open. Oh, here's the backside of the Marriott. You know, they should demonstrate on both sides. That's what I was thinking, you know. If I were the Marriott, I would just be saying like, hey, come around the backside. Am I going? Let's see. For some reason I feel like I'm passing it up. It should be around the Metro. I don't know why I'm going this way. Hold on. Oh, here we are. Here we are, the Urban Winter Gardens. Oh, never mind, you're far from Twitter. Not that far. So, here it is. It's dark. This is a good place for the werewolf to live downtown. This place has changed so much over the years. It used to be that this was a Sony Metreon. Oh, let's see. Let me answer the question. How about the Rincon Center? I don't know the Rincon Center. You're gonna have to tell me where that is. Do you live in SF? Yes, I do. I have been living in SF since I was 17. The Old Mint is a haunted house this year. Yeah, that should be interesting. I'm always curious what it looks like inside there. Oh, it looks like they turned off the fountains over here. Normally it's like loud as hell. Content. Depot and okay, chill area. Yeah, it's pretty cool, relaxed over here. A faint smell of weed drifting through the park. There's this little shaky statue guy. Looks kind of like Reagan. Look, which hand are you going to shake? He's got a couple feet. No one's up here. You see it's getting grainy here. It's not because I have a shitty camera. Oh, they're lighting up. See, if I wish I had like a Sony A7. That way I could really film. Or A7S. That way I could really film in the dark. Be able to see stuff. How about you get an Uber to the Mission? That's probably where everyone is right now. I don't have the Uber app. There would be a lot of fooling around to try to get there. Oh, they just turned off the lights on me. Yeah. Too bad. But like I said, it's dark. Dark as hell. You can tell because look, the difference between the sky and the ground. You know? You know it's dark when the sky is brighter than the ground. Good thing that it's almost full moon. But yeah, it's crazy just being here amongst these titanic buildings, you know? Maybe you guys don't get the sense of scale, but like, these things look huge. And there's still cranes dotting the city skylines. You know, I just saw something over on YouTube about, oh, you can't even see me, might as well just keep it at the front. I just saw something over on YouTube about China. They're building all these, oh, that's the Millennium, or not, I keep saying Millennium Tower, that's the Salesforce building behind that other building. Over in China, they're just building cities out in the middle of nowhere. They have millions of unoccupied buildings. And they're building it basically for no reason. They're building it to boost the economy just by building it. So there's these, over in China, you know, they got like, what is it, 1.3 billion people? And a lot of very, very poor people over there. They're building all these luxury condos. Just, they're destroying like historical neighborhoods and building these luxury condos on top. And oh, something's going on over here. Oh, parkour. It wasn't exactly graceful. But they're building all these luxury condos that no one can afford, you know? A $300,000 condo over in China, you know? So at the same time that they got all these people who are like giving away their children because they can't take care of them in such, you know, small places, and like have to send their children away to their grandparents. The same neighborhoods, there's, or nearby, there's these unoccupied buildings that no one could move into because they can't afford it. Just reminds me of what it's like over here in San Francisco. You know, it's like we're, you know, there's a lot of people who would like to live here, but they're just sort of priced out, and they're just building more and more and more. So, could be a bubble that's ripe for the popping. So, let's see. Do a video with your phone. Do some people trip when you video them? Yes. I have a video of somebody who, I mean, I saw somebody laying down on the street and I was talking and I flipped the camera around and he immediately flipped out and scared the holy crap out of me. What kind of phone do I have? I have a Samsung Galaxy S8 or Galaxy Note 8. Let's see, what is the weather like there? Pretty temperate, actually. You know, you go different, it's actually warmer over here than where I was before. Have you ever been attacked? Not when I was filming. I've been attacked just walking down the street, but not when I was in a live stream or anything like that. Nice, that's what I got now. Yeah, it's pretty. You know, I buy cameras specifically. I buy phones specifically for their video capabilities. And let's see whoever asked what is your spouse like? Yeah, she's cool. She works. She actually works for the government doing some health related stuff. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't really want to be put out here on this channel because she does work for the government, and I guess I kind of criticize the government a lot, but specifically the San Francisco government. So yeah, people have said that they want to see her, but she doesn't want to be associated with it, and I understand. Where do you live? Oh, let's see. I hate Bixby though. Yeah, oh, I remapped Bixby to be a, oh wait, where am I going? Somebody said they wanted the Twitter building. I'll go over there. So, yeah, that Bixby button thing is garbage. I turn off all of that tracking stuff, you know, because basically they just want to, everybody wants a piece of your information. So, I opt out of all of the Google tracking stuff, and out of all of Samsung stuff, and as far as the button goes, I mapped that to where it just launches my flashlight. So let's see, where do you live? I live here in San Francisco. It's over at Glen Park. Daniel Hart says you're good looking. Thank you, Daniel Hart. Poker King, what famous people have you met there? I met Lawrence Fishburne. I met some opera star. But you know, I'm not really I don't really know opera stars that well, so I can't say. And then there was that one guy who got busted for being a pedophile. What was his name? Who got dropped from his Netflix TV show, House of Cards. Kevin Spacey. Who else? I feel like I've met a bunch of other people, but you know, I didn't meet them out on the streets. Oh, I saw Clint Eastwood. So the thing is, I don't just bump into people out on the streets like in LA or something. It's I was working over at a variety of theaters, you know, and since I'm big and like the size of a doorway, they would have me sort of guard the back, and so because I'm sort of guarding the door, a lot of famous people will come over to meet other famous people or lend their support to them, like Hugh Jackman, you know. When he did his Hugh Jackman, when he did his show, I was sort of in the back to make sure that nobody went in or rushed the stage. So I met him also. I'm sure there's other people that I can't think of right now. What was Kevin Spacey like? I mean, he was doing King Lear at the time, and he was working himself sort of into a lather. The Millennium, now you're calling it that too. Yeah, let me go over to that space. What's that? Let me go over to that building, the Salesforce building. I want to see what's up over there. I heard they shut everything down. Kevin Spacey, so he was working on King Lear, and actually that's when I met Lawrence Fishburne, because he went backstage to go meet him afterwards. Like first this woman came by, and it's like, I guess she thought that I would recognize her. I didn't know who she was. I was like, who are you? And she started to say, and then I saw Lawrence Fishburne poke out there. I was like, oh yeah, okay, sure, here we go. Him, I didn't really, so he was actually performing whenever I'd see him. He would work himself up, I'm talking of course about Kevin Spacey, he would work himself up to where he was like sweating and panting and heaving backstage when it wasn't his lines. So he yeah, he'd be sitting there peeking through the curtains, looking and seeing what everybody's reaction was, I guess. Or he'd be like reclined back in sort of in the chair backstage, just like you could see his chest just heaving. He's just drenched with sweat. So he really went out into it. I think, like I said, Lawrence Fishburne went back there. Lawrence having previously also done Shakespeare. He played Othello. Let's see. What's going to happen to the tower? I don't know. They're just going to renovate it. They already dropped so much money. I'm not really the one to go look for news of that kind. What's your favorite expensive restaurant and cheap restaurant? Let's see. Favorite expensive restaurant. You know, it's been a long time since I went out to eat. You know, there's this place over in Hayes Valley that serves deep dish pizza, like Chicago style. And oh, that was awesome. I only ever went there one time, but I loved it there. Unfortunately, I can't go back there. There's another really nice pizza place, and that would be expensive. But there's another nice pizza place that's over at by the Glen Park station. They have really interesting pizzas and salads. They got some really nice salads, actually. So those are a couple places. I talked about it before. There's a place over at the what's that called? The One Market Building or something like that. The One Embarcadero. I'm looking around to see if there's anybody out here sleeping. It's called Gaylord's. It's an Indian place. And over there you could get like a variety. They give you like a whole set of different curries and stuff. The lunch over there is not so good, but the dinner is really good. So, you know, one thing I like to do is go over, see an independent movie over there, and then eat over at Gaylord's afterwards. And it's a pretty cool time. As far as cheap, well, there's tons of taquerias. You know, I don't think a lot of people know that the super burrito was invented here in San Francisco. So if you're gonna get it, might as well get it the place where it started from. I used to. Oh, there's a mouse. Hold on. Right there. Yeah, he took another little peek out at me. What was I gonna say? Yeah, there's a bunch of taquerias. You know, actually, a place that's not bad, which oh, there used to be so many nice Indian places. There was this place I used to go to that had all you can eat lunch special for $8.50. So me being 6'8", I can eat quite a lot. That was quite a good deal. But that's shut down. What was I gonna say? Yeah, there's lots of taquerias over in the Mission, like Pancho Villa, and then what's the other one? I used to go over to this place over at 24th and Mission, but they're not as good as they used to be like 10 years ago. It is countless. San Francisco is known for its restaurants. Okay. Let me go back. Oops. Sorry. Let's see. Have you ever met fans during a stream? Whoever. You need to watch the last stream. The last stream, I did most of the stream with somebody else. With a fan. It's a couple times it's happened. Have you ever thought of doing a meet and greet? Well, I mean, it sounds nice. I would like to, but right now, according to what I see, there's like 12 people watching. So if I can only get 12 people to watch, it's going to be a pretty sad meet and greet. I guess I could try to hype things up really need to ramp things up. I want to hopefully once my daughter gets into preschool, I'll have some time to live and think like a human and really be able to get things moving and a grooving here on this channel. And then once that happens, cut a few promos, maybe do some advertising, and invest more heavily in the channel. Maybe then I'll be able to do it. But you know, I keep trying various ways to grow the channel. It's disheartening sometimes. But anyhow, that's something else. Mixed green. Let's see. Yeah, even so, you know what's interesting about San Francisco? You go to even like the mall downtown, and it actually has pretty good food for a mall. You know, like you go over to like, let's say over in Millbrae and go to a mall, or San Bruno, go to the mall over there, and that food is like garbage. I mean, not garbage, but you know what I mean. It's your typical salty, MSG filled mall food. But over in San Francisco, you have, you know, you can buy steak, you can buy, you know, they have those poke bowls that actually has fresh fish instead of just stuff that's been sitting there forever, you know, and some sort of soggy looking mixed greens. Yeah. If you have money and you like to eat out, San Francisco is the place to go. What up, Lee? What up, Freddie Mac? Let me read your name. Hold on. Laliki9. Did you say you're 6'8"? Yes, I am 6'8". Optical. What do you do for a living? Well, what I used to do, well, I've had many jobs, but what I used to do was I was a caregiver. So I take care of the elderly and people with mental disabilities, you know, people who've had brain surgery, people with Alzheimer's or Parkinson's, and you know, my wife got pregnant and was having her child, and you know, we decided, or I basically decided, what's up, Daryl Rich? What's going on? Hopefully you're watching this video. But I decided, like, you know, I'm sitting here caregiving, I'm taking care of elderly people. It doesn't make sense for me to be taking care of elderly people and paying somebody to take care of my own child. Meanwhile, my wife, working for the SF government, makes a lot more money, or made a lot more money than I did. Actually, at the time, though, she wasn't working for the government. She still made a bit more. She was working for Chinese Healthcare Coalition at the time. She made a little bit more money than I did, but she had more hours, so it made more sense for her to work and for me to stay home and take care of the child. Plus, I was the one who really wanted the child, so yeah, I took it upon myself to go take care of it, and that's basically what I am doing right now, is being a stay-at-home father. And my ambition is to hopefully be able to make enough money to be able to survive and be able to work to be able to work on YouTube and be able to get along that way, and also making movies, documentaries, stuff like that. But I don't know if that's gonna happen. Look at this. They're on like hot tar. It's like steaming. Or maybe that's their food that's steaming. This is a construction zone. They're sleeping right there. You ever see something like that?
Spare dollar.
What was that?
Spare dollar.
I'm sorry, buddy.
You want a cigarette?
No, I don't smoke. How you doing? Oh yeah, it is that's the great state. Okay, so let me see. I was talking for a while. Let me look back at your question. Us fans will help you grow your channel lead. Thank you, Poker King. I mean, I have a Patreon that's sort of slow. I thought it would grow a little bit faster, and I guess I got a little depressed that it wasn't. But you know what? I just need to work. I need to continue to work hard. And it's been kind of difficult because I've been making plans for the future, you know? A lot of times when you're making big changes, things can get worse before they get better. And you know, I've been really like trying my best to try to find a place for my daughter to you know, go to preschool and stuff, and that's what I've been working on. And because of that, I've just been like, I mean, I had no idea that it was going to be so, that there was going to be so much stuff, that I was going to having to write essays to get in there. And that, I mean, I thought a TV test would be, I mean, I was a caregiver, right? I didn't expect there to be such a need for various vaccinations and blood tests. Of course, for me, it's a little bit different because I was raised in the foster care system, so I don't have access to my medical records, so I can't prove that I was vaccinated. So the only way to show is by doing blood tests. But anyhow, what are your political views? What political party are you in, if any? So really nowadays I'm just apolitical, you know? I've realized that there's the corruption is sort of pervasive, and it's on both sides. You know, like there's there really, it doesn't matter who you're voting for. Those people who you're voting for, they're really not interested in making it a better place on a grander scheme, you know. Maybe if it's some small local official, they might actually care. But the truth is that if you ever take any political science, you'll learn here in the United States that the people who get elected are the people who are able to raise the most money. And there's basically a law that is seldom, if ever, broken. The number one candidate raises the most money, the number two candidate raises the next amount, and the number three, that's how it goes. And these people who, they're basically bought into office, they have to return on that investment. And so they're doing all kinds of political favors for a variety of companies. I mean, it's the only times that the government really does big changes that benefits the people is when there's massive civil unrest and protests. And you know, a lot of people suffer during the process, but it's something that has to happen from time to time, or else the government will continue to constrict on the people and continue to squeeze them. So it's because of how things are, the government just grows bigger and bigger and less efficient. And all those things that do make money are privatized, and those businesses that lose money are then nationalized. People come in, they say they're going to make changes, but our government is running at an incredible deficit, and no one wants to hear that somebody's going to enact some austerity measures so we become solvent, and nobody wants to hear that they're going to increase taxes. So unless we solve either the spending or the revenue, things will continue to get worse for us. Actually, let me show you this right here. This is pretty cool. So you guys heard there was a problem with the foundation, so now I'm not sure if you can see, but they're digging up the foundation. So, yeah, so what I do is I vote on measures. You know, measures are the one thing that the people can actually enact to, I mean, can get to enable change. Of course, there's a lot of money behind that, right? Typically, if I'm getting any kind of propaganda in the mail, or if I'm seeing ads for something, I know that that's where the big money lies, and generally I go against whatever it tells me to do. Vote on this, vote against this or that. I like to look at where the money comes from, who paid for it. And I do a lot of research before I vote on things. A lot of things, they look like they're trying to do good, you know? A lot of bills can be very, oh here, I can get closer. Deceiving, you know? Things can look like they're lowering taxes when they're increasing taxes. Things can look like they're benefiting a certain problem when they're actually raising money for something that you had no idea that they were doing. So I do a lot of research over on Ballotpedia. I read the arguments for and against inside the pamphlet and see who pays for those arguments for and against. But yeah. So that's my personal views, but you know, who knows? Maybe someday I could do something where I could make some sort of difference. But the problem is, it's a lot of, if you really want to make a difference, it's a lot of hard work with very little payoff, you know? And the instant you try to run and there's some sort of competition, people are going to do some muckraking, trying to look up stuff from your past, or even maybe try to make stuff up about you and try to just, you know, do character assassination. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter if what they're saying is true or not. They just say it enough and people will believe it. So the good news is that they don't assassinate people as much as they used to. But anyhow, that's a completely different subject. Let's see. Sorry, I'll try to see if there's any more. Whoops. Let's see. SF is particularly corrupt because it's the big leagues. Yeah, you might be able. If I think the lower level you try to make change, the easier it'd be. Let's see. They all tell a big talk, and how we have to care, and yet homeless and beggar people have serious issues that aren't being helped, and it's tough when they're getting help, but not the help, some abuse it and buy pointless things and hard drugs. You know, I think that the homeless situation that's something that could be fixed, but it's not something that people have interest in fixing. You know, being a politician, you only have a few years. You only have a few years before it's time to reapply, and it's easier just to say you're about something and try to open a shelter or something. Hold on, I got some sort of message. Whoa, $100 Patreon from Dylan Gray. What is up, Dylan Gray? I don't know why that didn't show up in stream, but I got the email. I must have been looking away. So big shout out to Dylan Gray. I'm gonna have to send you a t-shirt. Wow. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry about that. You know what? He's probably also just signed up right now and he can't even see me thanking him. But thank you to Dylan Gray. what was I saying? Let's see. Have you ever watched Tom Zebra on YouTube? No, I've never even heard of him. So yeah, we're gonna have to do some. So, good news is some significant growth in the Patreon. Let's see. I'll do some editing tonight, and I'll try to see if I can upload something on the Patreon tonight, and then onto my channel also. I'll upload it on both. I'll upload it a non-narrated version over to YouTube or to Patreon, and a narrated version to YouTube. But you know, it may be late when I get home, so I may not be able to do the narration tonight. What was I saying? Talking about short office terms and politicians saying that they are about something. So yeah, you know, it's superficial change is easy to do quickly, but radical change is difficult. Hold on. It's a little bit blurry. Radical change is something that's hard to do quickly, and it's something that may make things worse before they get better. You know, to get people. I mean, first of all, it's hard to get people who are addicts to get off of what they're using if they don't want to. So that's the real crux of the matter. How do you get somebody clean who has no interest in being clean? You know, you got to it's probably better to try to get them to want to be clean rather than trying to force them to be clean and then dump them back out again for them to start using again. So I think that there needs to be more therapeutic measures put in place, and there needs to be a proper system and program for how to deal with them, not just shelters and trying to buy them bus tickets to get out of the city, which is something that they've done right now with these transit centers, so they call them. You know, what they need to do is, yeah, get them in some centers, get them clean, get them through therapy while they're inside these sober living environments. You know, I can't talk over here. The bus is too loud. I'll go around here. You know, have some work programs put in place, and you need to not have everybody all grouped up together. Don't have a bunch of ex-addicts living together, because once I think that it's hard for people to get clean, especially when they're around people that they used to use with, who then start to relapse and are using again. I think, you know, you need to, I mean, we're building these buildings all over San Francisco. Maybe you can just put, like, you know, 1 or 2 inside every different building throughout the city, sort of scatter them around. Have a variety of work programs where they're working with other people who are not users, or maybe even have stuff outside of the city, have some sort of deal worked up where you have people go and work a real job, get some work experience, and really get clean. Meanwhile, they are, you know, going through therapy and having some progress on their own personal issues, which caused them to use in the first place, you know? Because that's ultimately what it is, right? You're not going to talk to somebody who's a user who doesn't have a family history of alcoholism, or was abused as a child, or like who, I mean, they all have had various forms of trauma. Like I've said this before, I've grown up inside the group home and foster home, foster care industry, and everybody who I know, everybody who was raised with me, has become, well, everybody's been homeless at one point or another, and virtually all of them have become addicts. You know, there's this one. I mean, I could just go on and on, but there's many people that I've met who, yeah, they've changed. They've physically changed due to the drugs that they've done. But anyhow, let's see. What are you doing for Halloween? I'm gonna go trick-or-treating with my daughter. Let's see, what is the neighborhood? You know, when you want to go trick-or-treating in San Francisco, it's hard to find good places to go. You got to go to the rich neighborhoods where they actually give you the candy. SF is extremely tolerant of alternative lifestyles to a fault. You know, I think the legalization of drugs, I don't think is going to be. I don't think that's a positive change here in San Francisco. I know there's a lot of people who do a lot of weed, but you know, there's not enough knowledge about marijuana addiction. A lot of people sort of poo-poo that and don't think that that's real, but that's a real thing, and I know somebody right now who's suffering from it, and his marijuana addiction leads to alcoholism and other issues. I mean, something that I've heard about for a long time. Nobody believes it because not everybody has addiction, you know? But if there's no... It's harder to take care of a problem when there are not consequences related to that problem until it gets too crazy. So, let's see. Regardless of how loose... Okay. Alright, so let's go see what's going on. So, I am over here at the Salesforce building. That's what that blob is, Salesforce. And there's another one over there. And, of course, this thing where I was up in one of the streams before. What's going on, Jimmy Perez? How are you? I'm over here in like the Salesforce Center. I don't know what you would call this, but just checking out what's up over here because of your requested it. All right, 415 Mission Street. There's not a whole lot going on actually down here. What time? It's 10:38. Let me head up over towards Market Street. And now after I spun around, I sort of lost my sense of direction. But I'm gonna assume it's this way. Okay. How was Dreamforce Week for you? I didn't even know it existed. You know, I don't really go downtown that often with my daughter, so I don't really get impacted by that stuff. But I assume that was over at the Moscone Center. What are your plans for the night? Well, I'm doing streaming right now, and hold on, I'm not sure if I saw a mouse just run in the middle of the street. Let me go see if it's just a mouse or like a leaf or something. That's a leaf. Anyhow, yeah, so I just did some streams. I mean, I've just done some streaming. I'm going to do a little bit more, and then I'm going to head home and do a little bit of editing and hopefully upload something tomorrow on my channel. That's basically it. What is up with you, Jimmy Perez? Hey, Jimmy, you should see after the stream gets like archived or whatever. See earlier on in the stream, there's some crazy stuff. You just zip around through there. There was some. I was over inside the bar. There was a guy who was high on heroin and looked like who was half naked on the face down in the BART station right in front of the stairs. Okay, I think I'm going the right way. Either that or this is another area where they're working on improving the foundation because it was cracking or whatever. Here in Salesforce. Nap time. Oh, okay. No, not at all. Are you saying you're nodding out? Let's see, closed. I wonder what that is. Oh, it's probably still a Salesforce thing. Wait, hold on. I gotta make sure I'm going the right way. I'm at First Street. Don't know if this is the right way. I will go through your videos. Thanks, man. Public Park. I'm gonna make some more highlights. I only did one highlight. I didn't want to bombard people for those people who had seen all my live streams, but after talking to Sam in the previous stream, he said that he doesn't bother with the old streams because they're too long. So that makes me feel better about putting up highlights. Okay, is this? Okay, I'll try to get to Market first. That way I'm going the right direction. Alright, I think I know where I'm at now. More highlights would be chill. Okay, there'll be more highlights. I won't touch opiates with a 10-foot pole. You know, my wife during childbirth, you know, didn't want to take any painkillers, and they were really pushing it on her. And like they put an IV in her, in fact, even though she said not to. And during the process of the childbirth, that IV ended up ripping out and she was bleeding from her arm. They said it was too late anyhow. I think that the problem is over at UCSF, and I guess they wanted their students to practice giving IVs, but they ended up giving her painkillers anyways. And like people think like, wow, the pain must be really bad because when the painkiller wore off, I felt like hell. That can oftentimes be the withdrawal from the painkiller. You will feel like crap coming off of pain medication. There's people who are on pain medication for years, you know, and it's not. They think that they're taking the pain medication because they're in pain, but the truth is, every time they get off of the pain medication, they're getting withdrawal. So yeah, stay away from painkillers. That's my, you know, unless you're dying of cancer or something. You know, unless you have something like really serious like that. You know, I've had my leg all sliced up down to the bone and tendon, and I never took any painkillers. Your body has the ability to create endorphins, which sort of block out the pain for you. The truth is, you're likely to do harm to yourself if you actually are suffering an injury and taking painkillers. You may end up just re-injuring that injury. Okay, let's see. I used to live in Folsa. This is Jimmy Perez. Let's see. Yes, my cousin is homeless in Florida due to the opiate addiction. I think they had a street, but nothing, you know? Yeah, I think that there was dang, I forget what they called it. There was a name for like a road you go down where all of these dispensaries were at, where you could get your pills from, over in Florida. She was a nurse. A lot of nurses, a lot of people in the medical industry have substance abuse, actually. There's programs, actually, for people who are medical practitioners who are addicted. My mom was a nurse, actually. But, you know, she was schizophrenic also, so she was on disability. But her schizophrenia medication actually caused like, I think muscle tremors or seizures or whatever. So she was on some muscle relaxants and like anti-seizure medication, which is it was all opiate based. She also was she started getting migraines. It was on migraine medication. It's also opiate based. So she I think she also got an opiate addiction due to all that, and ended up dying from being prescribed a cough medication, which is now off of the market, on top of all of the various opiates that she already was prescribed. Go to Ocean Beach and watch the sunset. Oh, the sunset is set long ago. Had 3 kids, a family, and now she is in and out of jail over 1,000 miles from wherever he grew up. That's sad. So this is the Montgomery station. It's good to draw attention to these things, oops, even if it seems negative. Well, the reason why I do it is because nobody actually did when I first started. I sincerely warn young people to do their research before considering turning to drugs. Yeah, there's been research out there that shows that if you start doing weed before the age of 15, it can have some serious effects on your brain growth, particularly in the prefrontal cortex. My mom was a nurse as well. Eventually her mental health fell apart and she lived in a home before she took her own life. Yeah, there's a lot of nurses actually have a lot of problems. I don't think a lot of people know about that. I'm just gonna take a little look-see. You were really thoughtful for opening up about your tragedy. Well, you know what? I stopped talking to my mom when I was 17 just because it was so difficult for me. Because, you know, I was, for so long, you know, I used to live with her, and I kind of took care of her from 11 to 13 until I was taken out just because I was in such poor physical health. Yeah, like, she got back in contact with me when I was 17, and wow, look at this. Look. Stand for the redwoods. Stand for the future. 100 years is just the beginning. What about the present? What about that? Look at that. That seems pretty lavish. Doesn't look like he's standing for the redwoods. Right here at the Citigroup Center. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, yeah, but with my, what was I saying? Oh, hold on, it's not, there we go. Opening up about your tragedy. Yeah, also my mom, yeah, so I talked to her a couple times in the, when I was 17 on the phone, and she had fled to Wisconsin because she believed that her friends and my dad were out to kill her and eat her or something. Yeah, last I talked to her, she was in an institution. She wanted me, or something. She wanted me to talk to a doctor and tell the doctor that she didn't need to be in there. And I told him the opposite and then hung up. Threw away my number. I turned 18 and became homeless. So there was no way for her to contact me. There was no way for me to contact her. And spent a good portion of my adulthood looking for her again to tell her about all the stuff, you know? All the lifetime, all that's happened to me in my life, you know, that I've grown up and become a man and all these various milestones. Found out a year ago, 2 years, 3 years ago, that that she died just a couple months after I talked to her the last time. So yeah, yeah, I don't know. But okay, anyhow, so yes, on a different note, yeah, I would like to, you know, even walking the Golden Gate Bridge, though, the signal cut out. If I got big enough, maybe I could talk to some network and see if they could do something to make sure I don't have those problems anymore. What medicine did they give her? So her antipsychotic medication was Zyprexa, and I can't really remember the rest of it. I actually have her death certificate, so it said the medication. Her cause of death was overprescription. So instead of death by misadventure, which would be what it would be if she had killed herself using those medicines. But yeah, I did some research at the time, but that was 3 years ago, and there was a cough medicine and something else that have both since been taken off of the market because they're too dangerous. Does the station stay open all night even though the trains don't run late hours? No, the station shuts down probably at like 1 a.m. I wish they would scare kids in school by having drug addicts speak out about their problems. Much better results than books or videos about drugs. You know, the problem is that when you're a kid, I don't think you really care. You know, when somebody's trying to tell you something like that, you know, they're you know, they may be thinking like, who the F is that guy? It really needs to be, your parents need to tell you, you know, and they need to set a good example. I don't think that there's very many people who had a proper upbringing who then became addicts. You know, generally their father was an alcoholic, their mother was an alcoholic. There's like, or like, you know, there's other stressors. You know, maybe their family was very well off and constantly busy and didn't pay any attention to the children. Maybe their children weren't even raised by their own parents. Maybe they're raised by caregivers. Maybe they were abused by a caregiver, you know, all of those things. You know, maybe they were raised by family members and family members did stuff to them and that never got out. Because, you know, most sexual abuse, I think, happens within the family. Okay, let's see. But yeah, you know what, like, it seems pretty scary, but I think the best thing you could do if you're worried about your kid getting into drugs, obviously you don't do drugs your own self, and you just talk about it on a regular basis. You take them through the tenderloin, be like, these are people who started off as a kid like you and look at where they are now. I think that would have a bigger impact than having somebody over there talking about their own life. Let's see. It's like an effed up petting zoo. You wouldn't want to pet those animals. I'm a nurse, and I suspect for a couple of other nurses I work with of stealing drugs. They make it pretty easy for us to do that. Yeah, that's a big problem. You know, I listened to Loveline, and Dr. Drew would talk about that from time to time. how did you transition from being homeless at 18 to finding housing in San Francisco? It was difficult. I started off obviously over inside the homeless shelter, and living over at my friend's place. Oh, I can't see what's going on over there. Sorry. Let's see. So I was over there, and I got a job while I was homeless, actually. Or you know what? I got a job before I became homeless. I had to quit because I got homeless, and then once I was inside the homeless shelter, I told them that I had housing again, and was working while I was in the homeless shelter. That obviously wasn't the best, you know, because you only get maybe 6 hours of sleep at night, while you're being eaten alive by bed bugs, and while people are stealing your belongings, and you know, there's like parasites in the showers, but still better than sleeping out on the street, and at least you can take a shower. But so I was there for like, you know, maybe 4 months. I think that's the limit. You could stay at the Larkin Youth Shelter where I was at. From there, I went to this program called Guerrero House, which is over at 21st and Guerrero, which is now either moved or gone. And I was there for like a year and a half. While I was there, I worked at, I continued to work that job over at the California Academy of Science, until, yeah, I mean, I worked there for like 9 months, and then I left there and then worked for Sega, Sega of America, which is over at 8th and Bryant. And I think at the same time, or maybe even a little bit before, that's when I also had my black and white photography internship. And so I was making money over there, especially over at Sega. I was making, you know, because the hours are so crazy. You know, I was working like 60 hours a week, so I was getting a time and a half. We were working over holidays, so I was getting double time. And this was doing quality assurance for a PlayStation 3 game before the PlayStation 3 had even launched. If you look in the credits, I'm in Full Auto 2, which was supposed to be a launch title, which ended up being pushed back a couple months for the PlayStation 3. And then from there, I moved in with my friend Carlos, and we lived together for a while, and then he went back to being homeless, and I was left alone with a $800 a month. I actually had gone up a little bit, but I was left with an apartment like that, and I was no longer working at Sega. They got rid of everybody who was working there, and I worked at Circuit City before it shut down, and then I was working at Abercrombie and Fitch. But even working again like 60 hours at Abercrombie and Fitch, it's minimum wage. I wasn't able to make enough to stay over there, and I was taking classes at City College at the time, and they got me a place in a hotel over at North Beach, and so I was at the North Beach Hotel. I think it was like the St. Francis Hotel at the time, and so I was staying there for a couple of months. It was only supposed to be 1 month, but I was there for a couple of months, and then I found out that there was this voucher program where you could be, as a former foster kid, below the age of 21 or something, or something along those lines, or before the age of 24, that you can get vouchers to help pay for your rent up to a certain amount. Maybe it's like up to $1,000 a month. So I wanted to apply for that, and the people I was talking to were really saying like, no, there's this place over in South San Francisco. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I could get this voucher program that works, you know, here in San Francisco. I don't want to go over to South San Francisco, like, but they kept saying, no, you got to go over, try this program out. And I was putting my foot down, and then I was feeling kind of like an a-hole because of how staunchly I was saying that I didn't want to do it. So but they were saying, like, all right, we'll do what you want. Just try out this program. I was like, all right, I'll try out this program. And I went over there, and I hated it. Because, you know, it's a group home. It's basically what it is. You know, my whole life I've been in these group homes, you know, like six boys to a house, you know, everybody sharing rooms. And I hated it, and all of a sudden, here I am, back in a suburb, living in another effing group home, and you know, I was kind of dying inside. I couldn't do it. I wasn't cleaning my room. I wasn't doing anything. I was just reverting back to who I was back when I was in these group homes. So I talked to the guy who was, you know, who got me there in the first place. I was like, all right, I tried it out. Let me get back on that voucher, or not back. Let me get that voucher program so I could live like a person. And he was like, no, you're not doing well in this program or whatever. So I ended up staying there just for a little bit, but then went over to my, I had a friend, or not a, I mean, he was somebody that I used to live with named Antoine. I lived with, he was over at Guerrero House with me. He had his own place. He was on disability, schizophrenic, and even though like he had his own problems and his place was infested with bed bugs, I still preferred staying. The idea of staying there rather than being in a group home. Like, I can't do it. So I stayed over there. Meanwhile, I was working over at the theaters. And going to City College, and I saved up a little bit of money, and then got a place over in the Bayview, and rented a room in a house, and you know, lived there for like a couple of years until I was able to, not able to, but then I started working as a caregiver, made a bit more money, and then split a place with my girlfriend at the time, and yeah, that worked out. Got married, and that's basically where we are today. Okay, so now let me see. I've gone down into the actual station because it's after 11 now. Bless you. Thank you, Freddie Mac. Alexander, as a kid, you see yourself as distinctly different than adults on many levels, in my opinion. I don't know, particularly kids from broken homes like me. I'm just gonna read all the comments. Awesomely, keep it up, my friend. Thank you, Swing Records. Have you ever lived in the Loin? Yes, I lived at Turk and Leavenworth. That's where I lived with Carlos. That's the $800 a month place that I stayed at. We lived in the studio together. And he actually chose to live in the walk-in closet instead of sharing the studio. I stayed and South SF, in my mind, is kind of isolated compared to the city. You know, when I was over there, there was all kinds of crazy crap that happened over there. I was there, and like some girls got raped over there. It was not good. I hated it over there. Like, so some guy brought over some super shady people and like raped like some teenager. So I reported that, and it was shortly after that that I got out of there. I can't do it. But yeah. Anyhow, so that's how I got out of it. I remember when I remember after I left the shelter, everybody was telling me that I would be back, that I would be homeless again, and I had never been homeless again after that, you know. So I guess they were all wrong. You were inspiringly. Keep up the amazing work. Thank you, Alexander. But yeah, I don't like going. Oh, hold on, it's a bit loud. I don't like going to places that that remind me of my youth. You know, if I do leave San Francisco, I don't plan on going towards San Jose or any place like that. I'll probably end up going north. Rather than inland. Well, thank you, Alexander Connolly, for all your comments. But you know, yeah, sometimes I do get it. It surprises me, you know, because I go for years without ever feeling anything like negative about that stuff. But then every once in a while something will happen and I'll get into a bit of depression. The good news is I'm not depressed any longer, but I had been depressed for like for about like a month after my birthday. Have you ever been to Portland or Seattle? So yes, I went to Oregon State University when I was 15 and 16, and that's over in Corvallis. I took some art classes over there. I'm about to get on the BART train. So then after so during those art classes, we went over to Portland because they have a lot of galleries and stuff over there. Yeah, I haven't ever been over to Seattle. Okay, so here is my BART train. I'm gonna get on here and I will see you guys later. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the stream. Thanks for all your questions, and I will see you next time, and hopefully there will be a lot of exciting stuff to say and do next time, and there'll be more videos to talk about. All right, see you.